everyone. Good afternoon. Wait lang ha. Madungog ko. Okay, good.
Ganun po, ma'am.
Okay, sige. So, we will just have to continue with our integers ha, pero I will not be showing my face anymore kasi diretso na ta sa ato ang board. Wait lang. Okay. Sige, diretso na ta diri ah. Okay, para mag-solving na ta. Pero before ko mag-start diri I would just like to say something with our exam kasi 'di ba last week I was able to say na we would supposedly be having our exam this coming Thursday, and then I realized na we are far from our coverage pa di ay unya akong gitan-aw ang inyong exam naglabad ang akong ulo kay we will be having we will start from integers, then we will have significant figures, and then we will be having the ang tawag dito, significant figures. So the significant is the scientific notation, and after the scientific notation we will have the polygons, the rays, the lines, and the Pythagorean theorem. So pati ba din na itong layo Ginoo ko kalayo pag giday nato no nya. Murag I worry so much because we only have how much time. So we only have mga gamay na lang siguro atong time no for us to be able to ang tawag dito to discuss those, especially we are doing math. So probably we'll be having like an extension again of our examination. Pero let's try na we could have it uh, as fast as we can or whatever. Basta depende na lang siguro, no? So, for mathematics, we will just be allocating much time na lang siguro para lang yun ani. So, we will try our best to discuss everything as much as we would be able to cover for every session that we will be having. For this week, we only have 2 sessions lang biya. Kasi Friday is, holiday, right? Holiday ba, Friday? So, nan lang. Okay, so previously, we were able to discuss this one. So, that's the sense of using the number sentence or the the number line. So, it's very helpful, especially when we are solving. Okay, so let's go now to rules when it comes to solving integers. Okay, so let's start with addition. Okay, so for addition, we have certain rules. Like for example, rule A is that when you have positive plus positive, our answer would be, for sure, that would be positive. So for example, we have 5 plus 2 equals 7. Ayan. Okay, letter B. We have negative plus negative. This will become negative. So, for example, we have negative 5 plus negative 2. Our answer would be negative 7. Next, letter C. What if we have unlike signs? So, we have positive plus negative. So, what would be our answer? This will be, the sign will be, unsa man? Copy the sign of the bigger number, tapos subtract, di ba? We change positive into subtraction. So, this will become, instead of we subtract them. So, for example, we have here, positive 5 plus negative 2. You put, you always put parenthesis when you try to emphasize that the number is negative. So, in this case, this would be 5 plus negative 2. So, those are, unlike signs man sila, so may tabo sa ilaha is i-minus sila, and then you copy the sign of the bigger number. So, that is for addition. I guess this is very clear. Sayon nakaayon ni siya. Okay? So, let's go now to mathematics sa subtraction. Okay, let's have subtraction now. Letter A. Okay, sige. Positive minus positive equals positive. For example, we have here 5 minus 2. That will be 3. Pero, pag ang situation is like this, you have here 2 minus 5, what would be the answer? This will become,
Negative 3, ma'am.
Negative 3, ma'am.
okay, negative 3. Negative in the sense that ang 2 kuhaan og 5, pwede day na. So, syempre, manigative na gid ang tono, mautangan gid ka sa 2. So, malamang our answer would be negative 3. So, you just try to, analyze the term also. Okay. Let's have letter B. We have negative minus negative. So what would be? For example, we have here negative 5 minus negative 2. Okay, what is the answer? What is the answer in unsay answer ani sa calculator? Or for those na ay calculator, what is the answer here?
Positive 7.
Okay, we have positive 7, negative 5 minus negative 2, positive 7 ba?
Negative 3, ma'am.
Negative 3.
Negative 3, ma'am.
Okay, we have negative 3. Okay, let's try to see why we come up with negative 3. Okay. So what we are going to do now is you have to remember that if the minus sign to the right is negative, for example, in this case, we have here our no, kana ug kana man na silang duha. So both from negative and the minus sign. So what we are going to do now is we have to change these signs from minus to positive. So in short, mahimo na ni siyang negative 5 plus 3. So you perform now the operation kasi it's much easier. So negative 5 plus 3, this will become negative. Imo na siyang negative. Ay, 2, mali na. No? Sorry. Change naman no. Okay, this will become negative 3. So you just copy the sign of a bigger number. So ana ra siya, is this correct? Tama ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go to letter C. How about if we have this one? 5 minus negative 2. Okay. So in short, this is, wait lang, ato ning i-change bike para mag-ano ta. We have here positive minus negative. Let's try to see. So, dara mo na ni. 5 minus negative 2. Okay. What would be the answer here?
Positive 3, ma'am.
7, ma'am.
Positive 7.
Po, ma'am.
Okay, this will become positive 7. In the sense that you already have here yung minus sign, tapos may ano ka dyan, may negative. So, you try to change that one into plus. So, mahimo siyang 5 plus 2. In short, na imong 7. Okay. So, kana lang inyong mga timanan. Ano pa ba? Ano pa ba tayo mga nakalimtan dere? Wala naman siguro, no? Ang tanan negative. Okay, we are done with that. Positive, tanan, okay. Positive ug negative, vice versa. Okay, same na. So, maura gihapon siya. So, this is just the rulings for subtraction. Okay, let's have the multiplication now. Kana si multiplication ug si division, sabayon ra na nato sila kasi parehas na sila og rulings. Okay, multiplication and division. Okay. So for multiplication and division, we have the same rulings applied on multiplication and division. Parehas ra gina silang duha whether we talk about the positive and the negative. So for example, we have A. If we have positive times times or divide positive, the answer will be positive. So letter B, if you have negative times or divide negative, your answer still be positive. If there are unlike signs, example, you have positive divided by or times negative, our answer will be negative. Bailihon, we have negative divided by or times positive, answer is negative. Wala na'y lain pa. Okay? Sige, let's try answering this one. Okay, we have here negative 2 minus no. Wag na, balik-balik. Okay, let's try negative 10 minus negative 12. Okay, what's the answer here?
Positive 2, ma'am.
Positive 2 po, ma'am.
Okay, so we try to change this one. Negative 10 plus 12. So this will become positive 2. Okay, another one. Negative 8 minus 7. Sige. What's the answer here?
Negative 15, ma'am.
Hmm?
Negative 15.
Negative 15?
What's the answer in the calculator ba?
Negative
Negative
15.
15, ma'am.
Negative 15 po, ma'am.
Okay, so this will be negative 15. Na. Murag mo siguro ni wala na to nabutang diri ba? Negative minus positive. Lagi, negative minus positive. It's only just a reverse with this. Reverse ra na siya ani. Mora man ni. Positive minus negative ug negative minus positive ka na. Mora na siya nga reverse. So therefore, this will be, asa naman to nawa na. So negative 15. Okay, sige. Let's move on. Multiplication and division. Sige, we have negative 6 times 5. Pila man na?
Negative
That will
30 po.
be, okay, we have negative 30. Okay, sige. Balo na mo, ana, oy. Alright, let's try to solve a number sentence. We have here, okay ha, magsulat sa ako. Let's try to solve this one. Sige daw, be. You try to solve that one. Like, answer na. What's the answer to this?
Negative 103 po, ma'am.
Okay, let's try negative 103. Okay. Ato daw ning isolve. We have here 9 times 15. This will become 15 times 9. That will be 135. Okay, plus 20. And then we have here minus 7 plus 5. Okay. Let's try daw nga ato siyang Ay, una ta derive. We have here 7 plus 5. We have 12 minus 135 plus 20. Okay. Sige daw. Let's try daw to solve this one first before this. 135 plus 20 is 155. Okay ha? Tanaw na to siya ha. Tapos minus 12. Mahimo siyang negative 155 minus 12 is 143. Okay, let's try another one. Let's have 7 plus 5 minus 9, 15 plus 20. Okay, 9 times 5, this will become minus 135 plus 27 plus 5. Okay. So, ito yung una na to. So, 12 minus 135 plus 20. Okay. Kung unahon na to ni, ang mahimo kay 135 minus 12. 135 minus 12. Okay. 135 minus 12. Negative 123. And then we have 20. This will become negative 103. Therefore, it would be better nga when we are solving, we try to look at the left side first going to the right. So, in short, not all the time PEMDAS is applicable. Kasi if you're going to follow the PEMDAS, this will be the one, di ba? Mo man eh, PEMDAS man eh. O, addition tapos mag-subtraction ka mo man eh. O, addition tapos nag-subtraction. In short, it's not all the time applicable gyud ang PEMDAS. Much better nga maggamit gihapon ka itong mga simple na to, no? Pero you have to simplify first those multiplication and division before you go with the ano, no? Kasi our confusion lang naman is the addition and subtraction on which asa ta mo una. But if you are just given a simple equation like this, simple lang man siya nga equation, it's not too complicated, wala kay division nga involved, you only have multiplication, tapos you only have also mga plus and minus lang. So, it would be better nga mag-una na lang ka sa left to the right. So, that would be a lesson. Kasi you see, there are different answers. The answers will really give you differently. If you're going to follow the MDAS, this will be the result. It would be negative 143. But if you're going to follow the left to right lang na movement, you will be having negative 103. So, ana siya. Okay, let's try another one. Sige daw. You try to solve that one. Sige daw, what's the answer to this? Sige, answer, Ani.
Positive 50 po, ma'am.
We have positive 50. Okay, ha? Let's try. Let's start first with our multiplication on the middle part. So we have here negative 8 plus 6. And then you have minus, this will be negative 35 plus 17. Okay, let's try to solve it starting from here. So negative 8 plus 6, this will become negative 2 minus negative 35 plus 17. Okay, let's try to change this into plus. So we have here negative 2 plus 35 plus 17. So this will become 33 plus 17, so 50. Ana. So you see, there's a big difference talaga. Kasi kung ang buhaton na pod ninyo didto, nagpemdas na pod mo, kung namoy pemdas nga gibuhat, nawa gyud, na missing na gyud mo. Most of the time, ang gudo na mga mga considerations, especially with the arrangements. So, do not also just rely on the PEMDAS kasi natay mga, I forgot the other terms, no? Aside from the PEMDAS manggod, natay ginatawag nga BODMAS. Unsa nang BODMAS? Parehas na sila. Kaso, ang iyahalang arrangement, kung sa PEMDAS nauna ang multiplication to division, nauna ang division sa multiplication when it comes to BODMAS. And there are other arrangements also. It actually depends. Munang usahin, okay, I really recommend talaga na pag ingani, tagaan kag equation nga ingani, much better talaga na may calculator ka to make it faster. However, if you're going to do it manually and you're just given a simple equation, the same thing as like this, wala na, magmano-mano ka na lang from left to right. You just have to remember that you have to solve first the multiplication or the division if it is included. There are cases manggod nga pag nauna ang nasulod ang ani ba? For example, in this case, nasulod ang multiplication between addition and subtraction. Ang mahitabo, mag left to right ka na lang after the multiplication. So there are cases like that. That is what we call as the pattern also of equations or terms. I don't know if you are familiar with this kasi sa Edmt 1 manggod na discuss manggod ni namo mga second year karon nga mga estudyante. So sa inyo ha, basig nakalimot na mo, murag wa siguro ni na-appeal pod sa inyo ha, pero di na nako ni include kay wa na gid tay time, ko. Nakurot na tong time. So ana lang siya, no. So we just have to be very careful when we are solving equations like this. So there are cases nga pag yun nga, just like what I've said, pag nagpatgitungan ganina ang multiplication or ang division or both of them, matunga ganina sila, most of the time, mag left to right ka na talaga. So it doesn't matter kung asa ka mauna. If you will start in subtraction or you addition or on the addition, most of the time dili gid siya mo follow sa rule ang addition of subtraction. Kasi the more you prioritize addition as to subtraction, mamali na pud ka. So mo nang ang pinaka safe na buhaton is mag left to right ka na lang pag natungan ang imong multiplication and division. So, dili lang kayo tayo mag-stick sa PEMDAS kaya naapay other rules nga except sa PEMDAS. I hope that is clear ha. Okay. So, kana lang siya, maura man na siya ang rulings, no, for multiplication and division. Sa yun na kaayo. Anyway, I will do a screenshot on this para di mo mawala. Ayan. So, kanina siya sa subtraction. It's just so easy. So, yun na raoy. Okay. So, let's go now to our continuation. Labad na akong ulo. Okay. Let's go on exponential notation. Okay, sige. Ako sa ni ano daw, be? Wait lang ha. Atong tungaon ang screen kay para natay space para sa ato ang demo o natay space sa atong kuan. Alright. So we have here exponential notation. So I believe every one of us here knows already what's an exponent. So we have exponents actually, no? Like for example, 2 raised to the power of 2. We have others also like squared, cubed to the 4th power to the 16th power. So if we are going to dissect the exponents of each, it is just so easy. Like for example here, say for example you have 5 and then it is raised to the power of 8. So pila man na siya? 5 raised to the power of 8 is? Pila? Wala ko'y calculate dire. Sige, tabangi ko.
390,625.
Okay. Gubot. Daghan ra kaayo. Sige, ito daw i-reducean daw, be. I-3 na lang na to na. Para dili kayo, para dili kay daghan. Sige.
125, ma'am.
100?
25.
125. Okay. Okay. So 5 raised to the power of 3 equals 125 is just the same with 5 times 5 times 5. Wherein 5 here is what we call as the base and 3 is the exponent. So, timan-an gid na ninyo no that our base is 5 and 3 is the exponent. However, there are cases mang basta no we just know it nga dili gid ni siya 5 times 3. Dili gid ni 5 times 3 ha. When you say exponent, it's the number of times nga kani nga number, ang base nga number is multiplied by itself. So, if ever that's 5 raised to the power of 5, then that's 5 times 5. Kung raised to the power of 5 siya, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And ang total niya is ambot lang, pero that's the sense if the number is 5 raised to the power of 5. So that is just the same. So everybody knows that one. It's elementary. Elementary knowledge kayo. However, how about if it will happen nga man-negative ang atong number? For example, we have there our base which is 5 and then our exponent is 3 but the 3 itself is negative. So what will happen? Is this acceptable? What are we going to do with this? What's the answer to this? Oh, what's the answer na? What's the answer to that?
1 over 125.
1 over, huh? So may answer ana.
Negative 125, ma'am.
Negative 1.5. Okay. Sige daw ha. So in negative 1.5, negative 1.5. Okay. Pero how are we going? Dili mo gud in mathematics, it is allowed to have an exponent. However, you really have to assure that this should be translated or transposed into a positive number so that you could get the answer. Okay. Let's try if we have 5 raised to the power of negative 3. By the way, nadi ko isiksik pa di sa integers no, hawa na ko na mention. So after na lang ani. So 5 raised to the negative 3. So we already know that every whole number, for example, we have here whole number 2, 3, and 4. Kabalo naman tadaan nga kana sila nga mga whole number na sila'y fraction nga 1. Tama dili? Kabalo man taan na, di ba? Nga naagid na siya. So we are already assuming that number 2, number 3, and number 4 have their own exponents, and then their exponents are all 1. And that's the reason that 2 over 1 is equal to 2, 3 over 1 is equal to 3, and 4 over 1 is equal to 4. Now, how are we going to make this 5 raised to the power of negative 3 be positive? Ang yung exponent ma-positive. So therefore, you have to get the reciprocal of the number. So if 5 negative 3 is over 1, then this will become 1 over 5 raised to the power of 3. So in short, mauna siya. Sige daw. 1 sige, saan man ni siya ha? 1 divided by 5. Pila man na? 1 divided by 5. That is 0.2. Tama ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 0.2 raised to the power of 3. Ana siya. So in short, if we are going to make this positive, then this will be the mo ni siya ang mahitabo sa iyaha. Or dili pala diri dayo. Mali na mali ko plaster sa dara dire. Ana siya. So in short, this will be the face now of your exponent. So another example. We have here 2 raised to the power of negative 2. Okay. So, kabalo naman tadaan nga na siya 1. So, you just switch and then this will become 1/2 raised to the power of 2. So, ana lang siya ka-simple. Baliktarong ra siya nimo. So, that is the reciprocal or the verbalization of negative exponents. Ana ra siya. So, you can represent 2 raised to the power of negative 2 as 1/4, or we can represent 2 raised to the raised to the power of negative 2 as 1/2 or 1/2. So, kasi nganong na 1/4 man siya, ha? Nganong na 1/4 man siya? Kasi 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 2 times 2 is 4. So, nahimo siyang or 1/4. Tagets ninyo? Or wala? Ako lang ang nakagets. So, in short, kung kaning 5 raised to the power of negative 3, tapos na-change na siya, nahimo siyang 1/5 raised to the power of 3. Since 5/3 man na, di ba, that is 125 kung wata mamali. So, in short, this will become 1/125. So, ana ra siya. Di ba? Kasi raised 2 raised to the power of 2. If this would be positive, that should be 4. Diba? 2 times 2 is 4. However, negative man siya. So, therefore, you really have to do the reciprocal before you get the answer for the exponent. So, that is the essence now of the negative exponents. Sige daw. Do we have questions here? May pangutana diha, nalibgan? Wala. Okay ra ta. So, I hope nasabtan ha. So, in short, para makuha nimo imuhang answer, kasi you cannot answer directly man pod. So, all you have to do now is to do the reciprocal of the base. So, from the whole number itself over 1. So, you do the reciprocal, it will give you 1 over whatever number. So, example, from 2 over 1, so nahimo siyang 1/2. Tapos, you put the exponent on the 2, and then you will generate the answer, of which it becomes 1/4. Or you can just simply represent it like this. If you really just want to get the reciprocal, pero if you get the answer, that would be 1/4 talaga. So, in short, 2 raised to the power of negative 2, the answer is 1/4. As easy as that. Okay? So, sayon nakaayon na siya. Okay, let's go back to the integers. Nakalimot ko. Nakalimot ko include katong absolute value there. Nung ko kita tanaw sa sim, oy. Absolute value. Okay. So, in absolute values, manggod, no, we know that it is an absolute value if it is a positive number. So, all positive numbers are absolute. In short, 4, 5, 6, all of them are absolute. However, if there is a negative number, we have negative 4, negative 5, and negative 6. These are not absolute. Pero, mahimo silang absolute if we have to enclose them in katong slash slash. Mahimo ra ni silang absolute pag isulod di mo ani. Example. Ay, sorry. Okay. So, in short, negative 4, negative 5, and negative 6 are now absolute values, but they are not having anymore their negative signs. It's only representing na may negative sign sila dira, pero ang basa ana nila is 4, 5, and 6. So they are murag na-convert sila sa positive. Kasi 'di ba, I have mentioned it na ang mga absolute values are positive numbers. Negative numbers are not. Pero pag para mahimo siyang absolute value, i-enclose nimo siya ani mo ra og ginani. Oh, I forgot the term for that. Let's just check later on. So, if you enclose the negative numbers in slashes like this, then it becomes positive. Okay, let me just check ha, nato dire. Multiplication, absolute values. Okay. Okay, tara. From the number line, you will notice that the number of intervals or distances from 0 in both positive and negative integer is the same. Okay, one way to illustrate the concept of absolute value is to consider how far the number is from 0, the origin, and the absolute value tells us the distance of the number from 0. So, the absolute value of 5, okay, so the absolute value of 5, this one is 5. Ano siya? And the absolute of value of negative 5 is also 5. In symbols, we have 3 and negative 3 is equal to 3. So example, if you are asked if what is the absolute value of negative 3 na naka-enclose o ging-ani, so malamang the answer will be 3. So if you have also what is the absolute value of this number, malamang your answer would be 3. So sa'yo na kayo siyang absolute values, absolute values. Most of the time, when you talk about absolute values, it's the opposite. Ano siya, no? There is also a language referring to pairs of numbers whose absolute values are equal. So we say there are opposites or negative of each other. Thus, the opposite of positive 6 plus negative 6 and the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. And in general, for any integer in n, absolute value of n, and if n is greater than 0, it is positive. Negative n if n is lesser than 0. So example, we have here 2. So gisulog i-enclose ang 2, so therefore that is absolute. Negative 7, the answer is 7, where negative 7 is lesser than 0. So this is what I'm talking about. Nga pag ang negative gani, gisulod gani siya og kanang kahon nga ingana for absolute values, it will become a positive number. So for example, yun nga, no, negative 7, pinasok man siya sa ginana. So nahimo siyang 7. So that's the absolute value of 7. Si 0 pod, si 0, biskan pag isulod siya diraa, sa ngalan wala man na siya sign nga positive or negative. So the absolute value of 0 is actually 0 also. So ana lang na siya ang iyahang chika diha sa absolute value. Wala na nako siya na-include dito sa integer kay murag dagdali namang good ko pero sayo naman siyang absolute value, no. You just have to remember nga ang pag ang negative gisulod na gani og ginani, wala na. Mahimo man naturalize na siya, mahimo na siyang positive number. So mahiangyahan na dayong absolute value will be a positive number. So ginana lang siya sa mga absolute values. Okay. Sige, let's go to scientific notation. But before we go with the scientific notation, di ba, we are done with the exponents already. So let's go first with, okay, let's have the manataaning computing exponents. We have the negative exponents. We are done with that one. Dali ra kaayo. And then, let's go to scientific notation. Pero, we will start in significant figures first, or the rules in determining significant figures. Significant figures are very much important, especially if naanata sa paghimo og scientific notation. For example, if we are given a number of 470,000, how would we be able to translate 470,000 into a scientific notation? So we already know what's the arrangement of the scientific notation, right? However, we don't know yet the rulings. Why? Kasi we cannot go directly to translating this number into a scientific notation if we don't know how to determine significant figures. Like for example, how about if your number is 0.04070? So, if this would be your number, then asa man ka magsugod and how many significant figures will you be having? So, malisod na pud ta. Kasi that will really determine the movement also or the exponents of your scientific notation. There are also cases like this. 20.4,000. So, how many significant figures are there? So, yung ana siya. So, we will have first the rulings when it comes to determining significant figures. Okay. So, not all the time applicable ni diri kay murag naay mali diri amang god. Okay, nay murag na mali, murag na typo diri dapita. Okay, let's have the rulings in determining significant figures. If there is a whole number, okay ha, sige. For significant figures, significant figures, you have to remember that zero sometimes is not countable. What we are trying to learn here is we have to count the significant figures. Lahi to siyang counting sa significant figures sa kasi in counting significant figures, we are also determining the significant figures itself based on the ruling, which also can be applied when we are doing it or doing the scientific notation. Ayan. Pero let's try to separate ourselves from the scientific notation first. Okay. Zero is sometimes countable, sometimes not. It depends on its arrangement. So for example, we have here a number of 2, 4, 5. Actually, this one has 3 significant figures. Why? Because all numbers except 0, if it is a whole number, are significant. Okay? So all numbers except 0, all numbers except 0 ha. All numbers except 0, basta whole number siya, are significant. That's 245. So in short, you have number 2, you have 4, and 5. So all of these numbers are significant and all of the, actually 245 is a whole number. So our significant figure here is tatlo. That's the 2, 4, and 5. However, what if you have here 205? How many significant figures are here? Hmm? Sige daw. How many significant figures are here? Oh, you try. How many? Okay. Sige. Ay, naku, wala gid eh. Okay, so we have another ruling that zeros between two non-zeros are counted to be as significant. So pag natungan ang zero, mahimo siya nga countable as significant figure. So in this case, even though in 245 we have here three significant figures, as I have said, all no zero digits are significant. But here we have another situation. In our situation here, we have a zero at the middle point. If this would be the case nga natungan siya og mga numbers nga dili zero, it should be counted as significant. So therefore, there are three significant numbers here and the zero itself is counted already. So ingana siya. For another example, we have 2006. Oh, how many significant numbers are there?
4.
4.
Okay, we have 4. Kasi ang imong 0 na tungan. Okay, how about if it is like this? How many significant figures are there?
1, ma'am?
1, ma'am.
Okay, 1 lang. Kasi wala na siya na tungan. So we are having whole numbers pa diri ha, wala pa ta nag-touch og mga katong decimal ha, wala pa ni decimal ay. So we are just more on the ano pa, the ang tawag dito, the mga whole numbers. Okay, let's try another one. We have here 1,565,000 009. Okay, how many significant figures do we have? Sige, pila ka buok significant figures?
7, ma'am.
Okay, we have 7. So you remember, ang atong 0 dira is natungan man siya, so that is part of the significant figure. So therefore, our answer is 7. So no matter what, as long as the 0 are enclosed with numbers, that is part as significant. So ana ra siya. So our ruling ana is all zeros between two non-zero digits are significant. Between. So na siya sa tunga. Pag ma-enclose siya, appeal siya sa kwentada. Okay, let's go to the decimal. So this is more of the whole number manino sa mga whole numbers. Dito ta sa decimal. Okay. For the decimal, all zeros to the left of an understood decimal point are not significant. Example. Ay, ayos ha. Okay, example here. Asa nun to kung listahan bi kay para mas klaro di ko ganahan ani. Okay. Let's try this one. We have 0.4000. Okay. How many significant figures are there? Sige daw. How many significant figures are there? Hmm? This would only be 1. Isa lang na siya
1, ma'am.
kasi 4 lang man. And we don't have any zero on the left side man po. Anyway, i-continue na lang nato ning decimals kay mas complicated mo ning decimals compared to the whole numbers. So, we will just be having this one the next meeting na lang para madire-diretso na ta. So, after this one, we will go with the scientific notation tapos diretso na ta sa points, lines, and planes. So, maybe mas madali na ta. Murag pinaspasay na gyud ni you try to review also so that dili na ta malibog the next time around. You try also to study all about the equations here kasi I will be giving a quiz for tomorrow regarding kaning mga ingani. So Ana, you just have to give your answers. Maybe on Quipper I will be typing this one. Practice activities lang nato. Okay? Sige daw be, do we have any questions or concerns?